The breakout gets attention, but the retest shows intention. There's one more thing that I want to see, and today I'm going to walk you through my complete break and retest entry process from the setup and confirmation to my entry, stop, targets, and how I manage the trade. Let's take a look at the charts. So one of the first things I look at is market direction. What is the market actually doing? So we'll start on the daily. You can see this says 1 day here. We can see that yesterday we had a bullish day, and looks like price is continuing to the upside so far, but we are noticing that there's some resistance right around here. The market had a reaction at this level before, and so it's possible that the market could have a reaction at this level again. So we have a daily zone coming up here. We'll go down to the 4-hour to check to see what price looks like. We'll take a look at the 1-hour chart. Okay, and we still see that we're moving upward. We're making higher highs and higher lows. And here's the 15-minute chart. So overall, we're just taking a look to see what has happened in the past few days. We can see that there is some resistance here that we noticed on our 1-hour and 4-hour chart, so we could mark that as resistance. Resistance, 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 and we know this could become support later. We saw price move to the upside yesterday. We know there's an area of imbalance here, and there's that we could mark out. So this is the first area of imbalance that price may gravitate towards. We're marking up our chart, thinking about what we see price doing, and getting some scenarios in our mind or ideas of what price might be thinking of doing next. So we're looking for our opportunity. We notice that price has been making higher highs and higher lows overnight. We could use our trend line tool to draw a 15-minute trend line here. We can take a look at it also on the 5-minute. Okay, so we've got our 15-minute trend line. It's also serving as a 5-minute trend line. And so one of our scenarios would be that price could break the trend line, come back up to the supply area, and continue to the downside. So those are ideas that are in our mind as we're trading, as we see what happens during market open. We also want to be sure to check the news. So we've identified a possible opportunity. So now we want to check the news to see if there's any red folder or orange folder news occurring during our trading window. And we can see that there's some orange folder news coming up at 10 o'clock. So we want to keep that in mind while we're trading. If we're in a trade, we might want to exit. It just depends. It's not red folder, so it may not have that big of an impact, but we still want to keep in mind that there is some news occurring at 10, and it's orange folder. Next, I want to put my EMAs on the screen. Okay, this is a 20, a 50, and a 200. This gives me an idea of how price is moving. So we can see that price is trading above the EMAs generally. We know that even if price sells below these top two EMAs, this is not going to be a very long trade probably, because we're not trading below all three EMAs. So this gives me a little context about how long I'm probably able to hold the trade. We'll see if price breaks and comes back up to retest and continues downward. So that's one idea. We also know that recently price has been breaking and retesting support turned resistance areas. Price could come down and break, and then just retest the support turned resistance, and you continue to the downside. And as we said, this will be a quick trade. Unless price gets all the way down here and starts trading below all three of these EMAs, we know we're not going to be in for long. And so another scenario involves price breaking the support level below, coming back up into supply, and then continuing to the downside. Okay, so that's another idea that we're going to keep an eye out for as we're trading after opening bell. And we can see that price has already given us a break of that support zone that we drew before. So we've got a minor break of structure, and we've got our first candle, our second, and we're waiting on our third candle to give us some confirmation. But we need to be careful that we don't enter too early. We can see that we've still got 3 minutes left, or a little over 3 minutes. So we're going to wait to see how this candle completes. Okay, and then we find that our third candle actually is another candle of indecision. So we're going to wait another 4 minutes to see how this candle completes. We're going to take a look at SPY. Sometimes SPY gives us a clue as to what's happening. So we'll go ahead and mark SPY supply zone, and we're expecting it to go up and then continue downward because we know that sometimes NAS follows SPY. All right, so we can see this candle is looking pretty strong. We've got just a couple of minutes left in it, maybe a minute and 30 seconds left in this candle, and we see a strong push down, and it's also continuing beyond the candle before. We know that news is coming up. We have to keep that in mind as well. So let's see. We know news is coming up in 1 minute. So let's see if news gives this candle or gives our play a push. Okay, and we see price kind of creep back up, and it looks like it's given us a good hammer. And this candle here, we're going to check the Heikinashi to see if we've got a nice flat top, and we do. And so at this point, it looks like it's a good place to enter into the trade. Now we're looking for our first take profit area, and we'll shoot for the first wick. All right, we have 0.02 lots left. So at the end of this next wick, we'll go ahead and take off another 0.01. And here we have one position left. Now this is a pretty good time to exit because we see, if we look left, we can see that there is an area of support. And so this is a good place to exit our trade. All right, and so overall that was successful. We've done a good job. We'll go ahead and take a screenshot and enter this into our journals. Okay, our next example is a break and retest of a 15-minute supply area that was created on July 1st. So it's a fresh zone that was created back in July, and this is one example of how important and helpful it is to go ahead and mark your charts up on Sunday evenings to get ready for the week. And so we found a fresh zone from July 1st, and we marked it. We know that there was a reaction at that level last time price was there, and there's a probability or a good chance that there may be a reaction this time. Okay, we can see that we are starting to get a reaction from this level. Price is starting to push down. We have a break here and a retest back into this initial zone. We have a push up at 11:15, a candle of indecision at 11:20, and a good confirmation candle at 11:25. And so now we know it's time to enter into the trade. And we can take this trade probably down to around these wicks here, as we said before. We can get in around here, as we know there's always a little bit of retracement. And then we'll shoot for these last couple of wicks here, because we know that all these wicks are considered liquidity. All right, we are in the trade, and we'll go ahead and move our stop loss down to break even, since this is a very small account. So as soon as price leaves the zone, we go ahead and move our stop loss down. And we can see that there is a doji forming, so we go ahead and take off part of our trade, and then we're just left with 0.01. That doji is an indication that price might be heading back to the upside, because we see that there is a little area of support there to the left, and we've pretty much taken out a lot of that liquidity. And I think that it's best to go ahead and secure the unrealized profits and exit the trade. Overall, we have a successful trade. If you'd like more helpful tips and simple trading ideas like these, be sure to subscribe to our channel. And also, please leave a comment. Trade mindfully.